Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today we're doing a side-by-side comparison between the iPad Air 2 and the Galaxy Tab S2. We're going to be comparing these and seeing which one really is better and just how well each one performs at each and every category. Alright, let's see which one is the best tablet for you. Now, the very first category we always take a look at is the look and feel of the tablet. Now, the iPad Air has had the design for the past year, and it didn't change this year even with the new iPad Pro coming out. The iPad Air 2 isn't going to change any. And so with this tablet, has the same aluminum backing, which has been very iconic, and the same kind of basically just regular tablet design. Now, the Tab S2 has a very similar design, and really you can see the similarities of where Samsung got it from the iPad. However, it has managed to improve it a little bit, having narrower bezels and extremely light. Yes, this is lighter and thinner than the iPad Air 2, and this metal frame around it with a more sharp edge. Instead of it being curved, it actually is a flat edge, so it really allows you to grip on and hold the tablet just more firmly, and the coating on the back isn't slippery at all. Now, it does have a little bit more fingerprint prone, but really both do on a little bit on the back. Now, the great thing about it though is just the grip to it is so good, and this one you will not get tired of holding it for a long period of time. It's at that perfect thickness and just lightness that it really doesn't get tired of holding after a long time, even if you're holding it one-handed. And that's really something that you definitely have to commend Samsung for, just making it really an extremely light and thin tablet. So for that purpose, the look and feel, especially when you take a look at the screen quality between the two, is definitely going to go to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2. Now, when it comes to web browsing, the very first thing we do take a look at is the screen quality. However, on these two screens, they're the exact same screen size and resolution. So they're both coming in at a 9.7-inch screen with a 1536 by 2048 pixels, coming in at a 264 pixels per inch. Really, the only difference in technology here on the screen is simply for the fact that on these two screens you have an IPS LCD and a Super AMOLED screen. Now, the Super AMOLED screen is going to be much brighter and better colors and have more colors. And you can always change it to being photo quality, which will give you the truest color, so you can get even more true than IPS LCD, or it can be more vibrant. So it is a superior screen just for the color purpose, and it also plays a factor into the battery life, which we'll talk about later. So now that we go down, we're going to see which one does better on web browsing. And the iPad finishes first. Good amount of time before the Tab S2. It's kind of lagging behind. And yeah, definitely the iPad finished first between those two. So we can see that right away. And now let's check out moving. Moving, very fluid. Very fluid. All right, now let's do a double tap. Both move very quickly. Tab S2 seems to move a little bit quicker on the double tap. However, the scrolling was good at both. Let's try pinch to zoom. Pinch to zoom works perfectly on both. So overall, these tablets are both really great for web browsing. And trying this multiple times and seeing just how well each one has done, I will call it a draw, just because both are great web browsing experience, and you're going to have that great experience on both of these two devices. So overall, it will be a tie when it comes to web browsing. All right, now let's see which one really is better sound when it comes to music. So both speakers are on the bottom of their respective tablets, and there are two speakers on both. So we're going to see which one really is better. I'm going to start off with the iPad Air 2, then switch to the Tab S2, and then go back and forth.
The curtain goes down, I remain the same. that money don't equal the price of fame. From LA to New York, yeah. West Side, night flights to Oahu, getting late. Y'all go down to Vegas, they know where we stay. Last show in Cali, headed down to the Staples. I was a boy with a dream, had my head in the clouds. Now I'm sleeping first class, got a bed in the clouds. To pick me up, and he said he was proud. King shit with a beanie on.
So hopefully you could hear the sound quality difference when it comes to these two. Overall, the iPad Air 2 just had a bit better sound, a bit louder, just overall better quality compared to the Tab S2. So for better sound quality coming out of the speaker, it will be the iPad Air 2. Now both of these are 10-inch tablets, so you're going to watch a lot of movies on them. So let's compare to see just how good the movie quality difference is between these two. Now on top we have the iPad Air 2, and on the bottom we have the Galaxy Tab S2. So we're going to play the video on both and see which one looks better. Now, hopefully you could see the difference right away, but easily the Galaxy Tab S2 just has a much better screen. And this is of course due to LED. As you see just different videos and parts of it, you can just really see the difference in just how brighter and just more colors and more vibrant this screen has. It's really the same reason why you don't really see LCDs sold anymore. Everyone wants an LED TV to watch all their movies on. Now when it comes to the camera quality, both of these are 8 megapixel cameras. However, what we get from each of them doesn't really show the same. Now with this first one, we're just taking a picture with the rear camera and just seeing on the detail and color. Samsung definitely has the better color when it comes to getting actual color reproduction, especially on the green there. But also in the detail, it's just a little bit more finite. You can see the lint a lot more easily on this screen than you can on here, and just it makes a better overall clarity on things like the MF focus, and on the Canon symbol itself. This is kind of washed out, and overall it's just a bit crisper when it comes to the fine detail. Again, even in just the lens, everything just seems to be a bit crisper on the Tab S2. Now when it comes to taking photos outside, it really goes down to between these two cameras. So you can see that on the iPad Air 2 got really washed out on this one, just kind of simulating with the sun behind you. Would you really get that good of a shot? And really you can't just see any of the detail, and I'm very hidden in this photo just because it was washed out from the light behind it. And when we show that same one with the Tab S2, obviously it's not going to be perfect because it's still a bit hidden, but you can just definitely see a lot more in the detail. So as you can see, it just has me a lot more overall on the screen, and it just really shows a really good photo. I know this light is exposing it a bit too much, but there you go, so you can see just how well the shot looks when you don't have the blinding light on the screen. So for that reason, definitely did better with overall rear shots, but of course you want to see how these selfies are taken. So with these selfies, we definitely get just a much better selfie with the Tab S2 than with the iPad Air 2. Overall, just not that good, really faded out on the detail, and just doesn't even get the right color of the wall, whereas the Tab S2 just gets a lot better of a shot, more detail, and just way better color reproduction in comparison to this one. This one definitely got washed out by the bright light on the other side, but this one definitely kept the color and tone better. So overall, for camera quality, it is going to go to the Galaxy Tab S2. Now when it comes to gaming between these two tablets, well, you're going to have your pick of the litter, really. The These both run games amazingly well, and they both get almost all the new games around the same time. You can see Dungeon Boss and Pokemon Shuffle are the two main games that are being trying to be promoted right now, and a lot of these games you will see on both platforms. However, the difference really here is simply this. With Apple, you do get some games that are exclusively on the iPad a bit before they are on Android. On Android, however, you get, of course, all the emulators that run very well. There are some emulators on the iPad, but just not as many. Just like you get most of the same games on that iPad has on Android, but just not as quickly. So overall, for that, it will be a tie. It really just depends if you want all the exclusive games early for your iPad, or if you want all the emulator games like Super Nintendo, PlayStation games, all on your Samsung Galaxy Tab. Depends on you, which one type of a gamer you are. Now, when it comes to battery life between these two tablets, well, there you have a difference. The Galaxy Tab S2 started off 11% more than the iPad Air 2. However, as we've been using them even throughout this demo, we've seen that the iPad has downgraded its percentage much quicker. Now, this typically happens in all of our usage for it. The Tab S2 consistently gets about an hour to even 2 hours longer battery life, whereas the iPad we can always rely on to give us about 10 hours for the most part. The Tab S2 gets us more 11 to 12 hours, especially really great when it comes to video playback. It just does a really good job of not draining it as much when using it. And they might have to do it with the black LED screen, not just using up as much real estate in the background, but Apple definitely drains more with the screen than even Samsung does. So yes, overall, when it comes to battery life, the iPad Air 2 is not going to be as good as the Galaxy Tab S2. Now when it comes to extras on these two tablets, well, Samsung's lost a lot of extras, quite frankly. They used to have an IR blaster, they used to have a lot of different features. Even the split screen capability is now going to be available on both tablets. Where Samsung still edges out the iPad Air in this case, though, is having the ability to add on storage. This comes in at 32 gigs of storage built in, but you have a slot right here to be able to put on your micro SD card. So for that reason, you have expandable memory, which allows you to, of course, just be able to add on more storage than your other tablet would on your iPad, which you're stuck with whatever memory you buy. So for that reason, the Galaxy Tab S2 will have more memory. As well as, even though the iPad Air does have the 5 gigs of cloud storage, with the Tab S2 you get 100 gigs. So for that overall purpose, yes, the Tab S2 will have the better extras. Now, when it comes to the overall price point between these two tablets, they are the same price. So they're both coming in for the $500 price point. But there's one big exception, and that is that the Galaxy Tab S2 comes with 32 gigs of storage, whereas the iPad Air 2 still is coming at only 16 gigs of storage. Since everything else is pretty much equal, but you do get double the storage for the same price, I have to give it to the Galaxy Tab S2 for just having the better overall price point between these two tablets. When it comes to bang for your buck, Tab S2 will definitely take the winner. Alright, let's tie them up and see who won. When it comes to look and feel, the Tab S2 is going to be the lighter, thinner tablet, but just definitely that screen just pops and it looks so much better. So definitely the Tab S2 will win the look and feel. When it comes to web browsing, both are going to be amazing web browsing experience, so both of them will be just as good as the other. We'll call that a tie. When it comes to sound quality, well, the iPad Air 2 just has the better sound. So if you want to listen to music through your iPad, you're going to want to go with the iPad Air 2 over the Galaxy Tab S2. When it comes to movies, however, the Tab S2 screen quality cannot be denied. That LED screen is just going to be much better for watching movies than the iPad Air 2. When it comes to the camera quality, the Tab S2 definitely takes the iPad Air, just having the better overall camera, consistently taking better pictures, not only for regular pictures, but definitely for all your selfie needs. When it comes to gaming, though, it's going to be a tie again. It's a tie between the iPad Air having the newer release titles, and the Tab S2 having the emulator titles of years past. When it comes to battery life, the Tab S2 is going to have a longer overall battery life, coming in at an hour to 2 hours longer on a consistent basis. The extras will also be taken by the Tab S2, just for the micro SD card expandability, and the price point as well will go to the Tab S2 for having the 32 gig built-in storage at $499 compared to the iPad Air having only 16 gigs at that price point. And when we tie them all up, the Galaxy Tab S2 does take it. Yes, it's just a better overall tablet. If you want to watch movies, take photos, have battery life, extra, and price, definitely going to want to go with the Galaxy Tab S2. However, if you want a great web browsing experience, great for gaming, and better music quality, you're going to want to go with the iPad Air 2. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please give a thumbs up down below. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.